Hello and welcome to Royale Without Cheese, our bi-weekly podcast in which we discuss both the classic and the unknown of art and popular cinema from the then and now. We are your hosts, me, Leonardo Miranda, Miguel Aido, and Tomás Ferreira.
Hey.
Today we talk about the time that remains, but before any ados, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, or simply give us a like. The Time That Remains is a 2009 semi-biographical drama written and directed by Palestinian director Elia Suleiman. The film stars Elia himself, Ali Suleiman, Salah Bakri, and Samar Kuda Tanush. It gives an account of the creation of the Israeli state from 1948 to the present. Suleiman participated in the 2009 Cannes Film Festival, competing in the official selection category, being nominated for the Palme d'Or. It also won the Critics' Prize of the Argentinian Film Critics Association at Mar del Plata International Film Festival. Very well. Seems like a much-praised film, but what does RWC have to say about this unexpected satirical portrait of Palestinian daily life under Israeli occupation? Fellas, let's dive in.
Why unexpected?
Why unexpected? It was very expected. For me, and for Mike probably.
Well, it was unexpected for me, the idea of being satirical. You know, I wasn't expecting it to be satirical.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
No,
What did you
That
expect?
makes sense because I honestly thought that was like the film is like visually it's like a mix of Wes Anderson and the Coens.
I mean, once you
guys
start
saw
seeing
this.
it, you understand it and accept it. Not that I disliked the satire or didn't understand the satire. I understand. It was more... It was coming into it. That's what I mean. Coming into it, starting the film, I was not, yeah. I mean,
I
being
think
a
it's
niche
a bit
of
of
such,
style now.
heavy bearing, you don't expect,
It's his style for sure, yeah.
yeah, probably. I don't know the director that much, so.
I just mean unexpected, like, because when we selected this film, I told you, like, that you, like, you don't listen to me, all right, it's okay.
Yeah. Was I forgotten? Yeah. I knew that, but somehow...
It sounds good to say unexpected, I get that.
No, it's just not.
Generally
just good.
speaking, you wouldn't expect...
It's a very heavy loaded issue, particularly nowadays. So to be satirical about it's like, okay, I was not, you normally think a bleak drama, something like that, bleak family drama, not a satire.
Yeah,
but it's totally legitimate,
Yeah.
I mean, of course.
And perhaps even cleverer to do this way because it brings about more union and more ability to dialogue than to do a serious drama. At least in the way I view it, I think it's easier to get through to people if you do it through a lighter genre. I think.
I guess it makes more approachable for people, because it's unexpected indeed. But to be fair to Suleiman, he's been doing, like, since the 90s, he's been doing these comedies of, like, these tableaus. I think this one is his most, like, focused one. I think I love this one the most. I really connected to the film. I thought it was brilliant and very funny and poignant. I think that's really the beauty of it, is that he's able to make things funny, and at the same time, there's moments you laugh, you're like, that was scary, like, that wasn't... that was, like, infuriating even in certain regards, but he still manages to inject it with comedy to... I think it's... we've talked about this before, like...
Of a moment?
Like when the Israeli soldiers and the Palestinian soldiers, they switch clothes, to go through the town, and there's this woman, who sees this, and she's, like, very happy. She's, like, celebrating. But it's also one of the most, like, horrible moments, which I think is...
Yeah, because
like,
it's unexpected, it's horrible, it's super dark.
Exactly. But I think that's his genius, in a way, is, like, to bring these...
It's in effect, it's commenting on the absurd of violence. That's why you're so perplexed by it, and there's a sudden laugh that comes out of you, because you're in disbelief of the people. You're not mocking the person that just died. You're in disbelief of the people that just committed the crime. That's what you're laughing at. How can this
because just visually everything about the tone, the color, the way it's framed, it's light. It's you also laugh because you know the genre you're in and the way that things are being shown to you. So it's not like you're just watching a normal murder and you're obviously like in a Scorsese film where you'd be kind of, whoa, what the hell just happened? It's everything
And
about the scene.
they're
It's
very held shots, tableau, as Lenny says. It's like those visual cues, yeah, that you mentioned.
and the
Um,
editing as well. Sometimes, for example, with that sort of recurrent scene of the guy sitting at the chairs, and there's always one going past them, and the way sometimes it just switches between the traveling, going back to the chairs, and the front shot of the guy waving, and then the three guys at the chair, and then going back. This constant edit between these moments brings this life to the scenes and this very particular nature of, yeah, of it being very like a strip from a comic book even, it's very light, very cartoonish too, very all of these things, which is also very interesting to see again being used in a film of this nature. But yeah, those moments are really fun, so to speak.
Fun. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I also like the frame of the taxi and how it connects to him reminiscing about the statelessness of the Palestinians, on how like this taxi driver talking about where am I going, where are we, where am I, and
oh yeah,
that
yeah. That
sort
that was a
of
perfect kind of metaphorical
exactly
prologue to the film. It's like the storm gets bigger, gets bigger. It's kind of this foreign occupier and no business in being there, and suddenly all comes to a halt still. And
in this
it's like he has
quietness
no
in the
memory of
back.
who he was past, no memory of who he was past, right? I think I have that feeling that suddenly he's like starts saying less and less, and where am I? His voice starts becoming numb and desperate and empty, nothing to say anymore. And there's the added thing of the person in the car, his client, being a shadowy figure in the dark. I think it's one of the probably one of the most serious moments in the film that give it a certain gravitas as you enter it. But yeah, one of the things that was interesting to me about the film was something I wasn't so much aware of, was this idea of what I read has Israeli Arabs, this thing about Palestinians that end up being assimilated by Israel and sharing in their customs. And you have Suleiman has a kid, so to speak, because it's semi-autobiographical, going to school and being integrated in that brainwashing of the state, and even showing Spartacus with Kirk Douglas has the people getting their land back and their rights and being free. And it's so, I get so skeptical when they show that hero trying to retrieve a sense of freedom and regaining his manhood and etc. The male hero, fighting for the nation. So to justify violence and all to justify use of fire and guns against another people. It's such a distorted use of a movie to be applied there. And
Also, the class singing those sort of Hebrew hymns,
yeah.
waving the Israeli flag.
Yeah, there's a lot of that presence in the film.
And then the teacher asking, "Who told you America's colonialist? Who told you it's
Yeah.
imperialist?" Like these recurring shots, which
Yeah.
is interesting. And then it leads to later him getting, I mean, it doesn't say it's directly, but when he's older, he gets kicked out, or I don't know, denounced by the state, so he has to leave the country.
Right.
So there's these like inklings. So you understand that he's, obviously he's not happy about the situation. He's not happy about what has happened.
Which is difficult to know what he thinks or what he does, because he's very silent throughout much of the film, and he's sort of
For
a
me, it's
mime.
pretty. I mean, I get what you mean. I mean, but I think
I had more of a
the
connection
film
with his
does,
father
the
than I
film
had with him.
communicates his position. I think pretty well.
Yes, a little bit, I guess.
Is that
But
like what you were just saying? The thing with the Israeli assimilation, like the watching the film, the singing him. I think that's a clear message.
But that's not a question of attitude or his point of view. It's a question of his surroundings and what it makes to him. His reaction to those surroundings, that's another story. I don't see him having many reactions,
his
but you make some
reaction
inferences.
is the film. He's
I guess
making
so,
the
yeah.
film. I don't know. Like for me, I think the portrayal is the message, like the showing of the creation of the state and the violence around it. Just because he doesn't speak clearly about his ideological positions, I think the movie does the job very well of at least putting you in the position of like, yeah, this is fucked up, that the way it all transpired.
To be clearer or more nuanced, what I'm trying to say is that I agree, and I think he chose to portray that through silence, to being muted, to not being able to speak your mind and live the life you would like to live in your own territory, country, which they were already there, instead of, choosing the voicing
It's
of
not
that.
just he that speaks less. I mean,
Oh, the mother
His
at a
mother.
certain point,
no
the
one,
mother
no one
becomes
speaks.
muted.
No one speaks.
What? The
Some
father
people
does.
speak.
The
father
elderly
speaks.
guy does. The father speaks
What
a lot.
elderly guy?
The
The
guy
elderly
is
guy who
always
is
with the
always
kerosene.
putting kerosene on himself.
Ah, no, but I was talking about the final sort of clearly more sort of comedy part of the film where we move to.
Final. But okay, but I'm overlooking the film as a whole. Like, the father speaks. His
Yeah,
Okay,
friends,
perfectly.
when he
because
goes to cafe, speak.
when we move to the future and we have Elia himself as an
Of course, the
actor.
father's no longer there. Probably that. So the character becomes the lead. Lead is the son.
There's that guy with the phone. He's talking on the phone as he's being followed by the tank. I
Yeah.
mean, that one's a very funny
Yeah,
moment as well.
that's absurd and funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but his mother also becoming more her, I don't know, like was she more talkative during the rest of the film? I think probably
I think she
yes.
was in the beginning. I remember scenes in the kitchen where she was talking and stuff.
Yeah, she did.
More
Overall,
of a
they had a sort of a normal family vibe
Yeah, just he didn't
going, but
speak.
yeah, basically.
Just the kid. Yeah. Yeah, but the mother becoming more muted in that shot of her in the balcony, like framed with the window. I also think it's very striking. I don't know the film. I think it communicates that the feeling of like, where do I belong? Like, how can I belong here? What is this place? What is the Nazareth? When we're just fishing and we're constantly under surveillance, for example. And again, he does it with comedy. Like the soldiers keep coming back, and then eventually they're like, "Why don't you go somewhere else?" It's like they make it explicit what they're trying to do with that constant pestering of them, even though they're very nice about it most of the time. But obviously, they're not nice. It's not nice what they're doing, but they're nice about it. But yeah,
And even also the surveillance thing at the disco, when they go
he starts bumping
basically
it.
at the door, yeah, and they say curfew, stop dancing, and then eventually cut back to them, and they're already sort of moving with the
Yeah.
music as
yeah,
well. Stopped, it's
Stop.
curfew.
yeah,
So
yeah.
even them, even they are. It's not like they are self-conscious of it, but clearly the message is even they are not happy about the things that they're asking of the people because it's so yeah, it's so against what is normal in a society of belonging. You're taking away people that are happy and dancing. It's just a heavy request, and
Uh, for the images that you see, I feel that there's a lot of lack of empathy, from Israel to Palestine. But again, on both sides, because at a certain level, it becomes such a fight, such harm done that there's just hate. So I guess when you say, particularly on the Israeli side, that the soldiers, even them understand. I don't know. I mean, there's Israelis people that
no,
understand,
no. What I
definitely.
mean, is when the soldiers themselves start dancing, it's basically hinting that the request itself is something that they don't take as seriously as they would if they didn't do that little movement, because they know that the people are just having fun, and it's and demanding a curfew at that point is a bit nonsensical. It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, I get what Maj means though. Like I don't see that level of in the real world, that level of
no, I'm,
empathy
I'm
on
not
the.
talking about the
Yeah,
real.
yeah, yeah. I know, I know, I know. I just
Oh
to
yeah, yeah.
make it
But it's
clear
always
that
in
it's not what
reference.
we're saying here.
It's always in. I always think in reference to the real world where he's trying to comment.
Sure,
What
but
lacks in it. What what lacks in it, well, this might be a situation of what lacks in it, or for example, more than what is there. Maybe there should be more of this dancing, bobbing around
But in
along
the
with
real world,
Palestinians,
it's complex, and there are a lot more characters in the sense that there are the soldiers that wouldn't dance and would just authoritatively say go home, and there are the ones that do dance. So there's always these levels of different people feeling different ways about the conflict.
We've seen manifestations of Israeli people who do sympathize with what's happening in Palestine, and we've also seen the reverse, people who express themselves in horrible ways. So yeah, like that Daniella, which I didn't know about, and then I
Daniella
learned
Weiss.
yesterday. Yeah, and then I was reading a bit about the situation, then I found out about that documentary by Thoreau that you must have seen, The Settlers.
Yeah, it's great.
I need to see it. It must be interesting. I mean, just a horrible human being.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like what Elia Suleiman here portrays is already itself like a very difficult situation, which is people in Israel who are Israeli Arabs who don't have the same like legal rights. They're citizens, but it's a complicated issue because Israel is very much divided by ethnicity, and so if you're Arabic, you don't have the same privileges, and you live under much more
Scrutiny and vigilance.
scrutiny and vigilance. It's clearly it's the classic like equal but not really equal type of situation, and even I think by law they're not equal. As recently as like 2018, some law came into place. But then in the West Bank, I mean, it's a completely like much worse situation because it's
Because of the settlers.
occupation. It's the settlers, the occupation, because that's Palestinian territory technically, but it's being
And they're illegally there.
they're illegally. I mean, it's a war crime straight up what they're doing, and like what that Daniella Weiss advocates for is completely
kind of the
illegal.
grandmother of that movement.
Yeah, and yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah.
And then there's Gaza, which is an even worse situation.
Yeah.
Like,
And I don't know if you've seen that individual, Mike, but you hear her talk, and there's not 1 ounce of sympathy for Palestinians.
I don't know the person, but there's
you should see because it's something.
But for whom? Sympathy for whom? She's
Palestinians.
she's an Israeli. Is that it?
Yes.
yeah, she's
It's kind of a leader of this movement of settlers that go to the West Bank, which is a Palestinian area, one of the few, along with Gaza. And they're just there illegally, these pools of people who create houses or outposts, kind of enhancing the domain of Israel inside those places. And it's just, and they receive funding from the US, people in the US that sympathize for them and such. And it's just,
I mean,
the
a
way
lot
she
of them
speaks,
are from the US.
Yeah, like Jewish people that come from US or Europe or even there to Israel and to those places to occupy, and that person is a representative of that movement, and you see her confronted by Thoreau or other people, journalists, and it's just what comes out of her mouth, her ideas. It's just, I only care about my family. Don't you care about these other people's families, their babies, their children? And she's like, I only see my family. Only think about
There's a moment like she's talking with him, and then she pushes him. She pushes Louis Theroux.
I've seen that.
And he's like, "What the hell?" And then she keeps talking.
It's such a childish thing to do. It's like we're talking with a child. What she says, what is the argument is that if I push you back, you push back, right? And Theroux doesn't push back. He doesn't do anything. And it's like, come on, I'm waiting for you to push me back. And I'm like, we're a 60-year-old woman. What do you think? I mean. And at the end of the moment of interview, she says, "I'm still waiting for you to push me back."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I'm very sorry you
Theroux
didn't push
just left
back.
there.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the heck? It's just inciting to violence.
She's more of a Zionist in the sense of colonialism rather than just a Jewish person,
She's a Zionist. Like,
a Zionist.
He's a Zionist. They're crazy.
But that's the thing. I mean, getting very political now, but it's just
it's just because it's the nature of the film, and one ends up talking about it.
Yeah, no, but it's almost incomprehensible because it's the same people that went through the Holocaust, so it's just such a conflict in my mind to think about how to balance the two realities, that they went through this thing and also now well, now, not now. It's been for the past 80 years, but it's such a moral thing I can't really understand. Of course, it's complex, and not everyone is the same. Obviously,
Yeah, no,
there's
I was gonna say is like there's lots of Jewish people who are anti-Zionists, and it's a
of
very
course,
normal
yes.
Yes.
position.
And that's why I also wanted to say the difference, because for me, it's if you're a Zionist, it's a movement of which is different to me than normal
And it started in the
Judaism. So
beginning of the past century, this idea that, they should relocate to kind of the.
yeah. I think it goes back to the end of the 19th century.
No, it's that, and there was a lot of immigration from Europe, to there, but it became aggressive right around,
The 40s.
1948 after the war. Yes, yes.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, in the early 1900s, there was already movement there. Yeah.
I think it was owned by Britain.
Yes, Palestine was like British territory, and then it was given to, I'm not sure, but like it's like
In accordance
it wasn't
with the
given
US
to the
after the war.
Palestinians. It was given to the Zionist movement, basically,
Yeah.
to relocate
Sort
there.
of a forgiving thing, let's compensating for the horsemen. But what's the fucking?
It's like
They had homes. These people had homes in Europe and such. Why the logical thing should be that, and take out the territory of people who are already there?
it's so the whole thing is ridiculous.
It's complex because this goes back way longer than the 19th century. So it's who belongs where. It's all very, to a certain extent, pointless. If it's the degree where we're getting it's of violence, it's pointless. It becomes pointless.
It is complex, but I mean more the solution to anti-Semitism isn't like, oh, let's send the Jews away. It's like that's ridiculous.
We all came from other places a
yeah.
long time ago. It doesn't mean that, the cure now is to go to that same place where we originated
Yeah.
from, so everything will be perfect and dandy and will be heaven on earth. But what if somewhere else is there? And,
somebody else is there.
Yeah, it is there. So yeah, it becomes, I don't know.
It's tough. Yeah.
And some of the things that, some things that she said were,
We're really digging into Daniella.
yeah, because it's just bonker stuff. That's the stuff that she says, It's she said, because it's so outrageous in that clip that I heard her saying that but Palestinian is a fake state, is the made up state that I invented, which was like, oh yeah. So what is the US? The US is
Israel.
a super invented state, and every state is invented. It had to originate from nothing at some point. But the US is like a bunch of just the hypocrite beginning of like. What I said some days ago, like colonizers in the third degree.
But she's
you don't
American.
want to pay taxes, let's make a state.
I think she's Israeli.
No,
She was
she's
born-
Israeli. But I mean,
she's
the
born-
US helps along Israel in terms of the weapons and everything and the supporters, But those she doesn't mention. The friends she doesn't mention, that has an invented state or whatever. So I don't know, this idea of I'm using the US as an example because invented state. Everybody has been an invented state at some point. I'm only a little bit madder at US because they are a superpower and have a lot of power in helping these guys. Why there's a bigger shift? Because there's a lobby there. But
no, and it's poignant to speak of the US because it's even more hypocritical when you think about the origins of the US and what it was
and the land of the free and all that narrative and et cetera, et cetera.
No, that's another layer of hypocrisy, but it started off with also another, taking
yes, but
land
because,
from the people that were there. So.
Yeah, but because at the origin of that origin is the land of the free and for the people by the people.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
It was also
And
a
I'm
genocide
sure
of the people who were there.
Oh yes, the movement to the west, the manifest destiny and all that is at the cost of a lot of indigenous people who didn't, go to reservations and such. There's a long footprint of the US in those matters. South America,
They got their hand everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, but more about the
But
film.
any final notes regarding the movie or any other thing? Because I think we veered off to here. I don't know if there's anything else.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like we didn't really speak a lot about it.
We didn't really
The
speak a lot.
movie, I mean, the film is very political just by nature of being made by, Palestinian man talking about the creation of the state of Israel. That itself is like, even if he didn't want to make a political film, it's like he's very existence as a Palestinian is political, because like that Daniella Weiss we were talking about, like she doesn't, to her, Palestinians aren't real. Like that's not a real identity that someone can have. So when someone is a Palestinian making movies, like I think that's itself has a lot of power. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot about the film. I think the father, I really like the character of the father, and there's real tragedy there, and him looking at his father, looking up to him, seeing the little ways, and sometimes bigger ways, in which he tries to be rebellious in however he can to at least communicate that he doesn't just want to assimilate. There's an attempt at keeping an identity it's very difficult. And then when he comes back and the father is not there anymore, and it's just the mother alone, and there's that
And
shot.
the final shot is just the father kind of tired in the car, going to sleep, and then after that, there's the emptiness of it.
Yeah, exactly. And the shot of the mother, like with the fireworks in the background, there's like an ironic sense there as well. I think the film is very the final movement to the contemporary time becomes very melancholic, although still very funny. But there's a sadness, and it comes also to the quietness of the characters, as we were
Of
talking
something
about.
that wasn't allowed to grow the right way, and then it's substituted by other culture footprints, both Israeli and also US, because then you have little hints like
Christmas
them
tree.
singing Titanic. Christmas
Yeah,
tree.
the
The moment the
Titanic.
Christmas tree was there, I was like, what? Christmas tree? Completely out there. And then the singing of the Titanic, which was also quite funny, and a hint of like how the West shaped that culture in a way. But it's a difficult film for me to connect. Although I understand everything that you say, and I see it, it's there. I understand the point of view. It wasn't a film that I was like super. I didn't connect with at the super deep level. Like I understand there are things that are
It's
there.
kind of
It's a good.
impossible for us, I think, to connect at that level
I mean, of
emotionally.
course, there's also the fact that you need to be, Palestinian and from the culture to connect at even a deeper level. That's I mean, you're especially yes with what it's going through.
Even
But
if it weren't happening, I think there's always a level of this film is made by a Palestinian
of
person
course,
that speaks to culture, that speaks to issues that people that going through those things are gonna connect with even more. So we can be empathetic, but it's always a barrier, I think.
it's more cool, not so much because of the culture or anything, because we see thousands of films from different cultures and you're able to connect. It's more because of the nature of the story. He's very silent. He's very cold. He's very absurd. So yeah, that. So sometimes I understand it and I get the point, but sometimes I feel a bit disconnected from the film because of that very same thing at the same time. Although at the same time, I connect with stuff like the fireworks that Lenny mentioned, or like the fact that he brings the radio and he makes Palestinian music return to her, and she starts to, get to step into it while she remains still. There's a sweetness of film language being used in performances and the way the shots are composed that really works. But I also feel that I don't know. I felt a disconnect. There was something missing for me. I don't know what, but yeah, I
I didn't
felt a
feel
disconnect with the movie throughout.
this is definitely the one for me that I
That you're like,
connected the
bam.
most. Like now, like
And then I need to
damn,
see others,
Elia,
so then to
like,
compare and say, okay, I sit still.
because the others, I mean, It Must Be Heaven, I liked it. I need to rewatch. But then the other two, which is Divine Intervention and Chronicle of a Disappearance, I mean, I love it more in the same way that you're talking about this one, which is I appreciate it, I understand, I just didn't connect to it on a deeper level. Whereas with this one, I really was in the groove of
Moved.
it and moved
Okay.
by it, moved by. I think his films are all very biographical, semi-biographical to an extent. I mean, he's always there, so that's inescapable. But in this one, the presence of his father and his mother and all that, incorporating the story of the family so much, I think it really, really moved me. Thought it was, and I laughed a lot. I think the film is pretty funny, uh, and
The fact
I
that it
appreciate
spans a
that.
lifetime probably also helps.
That it, yeah, I think so too. Yeah, because it's a lot more structured in a clear way than maybe like the other two films from before this one, where it's more disconnected tableaus, more just little gags and bits that, you know, they are connected, but it's looser. Whereas here he's telling more of a clear 4-part story, you know. It's interesting. I thought it was very, very well built. I mean, I can say that in It Must Be Heaven, Gael Garcia Bernal shows up. So if you want to see Gael with Elia Suleiman, that's where you go.
Oh, all right.
I do want that. In fact,
good.
just take out Elia and leave me Gael, and I'm fine.
Nah, you gotta have the two. You gotta have the two.
Man, Gael has done a lot of films with a lot of cool people.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yeah, he has done a lot. It's very cool.
Yeah. But don't get your expectations so high. It's more of a little cameo. He shows up a little. He's like on the phone.
Wow.
Because in the film, I think Ellie is like trying to get the movie funded. It's getting difficult. And so Gael is like talking to some producers. And the producer, oh, it's the Israeli director, Elia Suleiman. He's like, he's not Israeli. He's Palestinian. He's like, Gael, that's a beautiful accent. Yeah, it's great.
It's Palestinian, no?
And that's all for today. If you'd like to reach out and suggest a film for the next episode, you can find us on the podcast official Instagram and website pages. Feel free to subscribe, share this episode, or simply give us a like. That's how our podcast can grow ever more groovy. And if you're on YouTube and want to see more videos like this, check out this next video right here. Thanks for listening and see you next time.
Dead ringers.
This was actually the time that remains.
The time that remains.